Hi, I'm Karma Kitaj. I'm your host for A Livelihood, New Careers as We Age. And today I'm delighted to introduce you to Barbara Slater, who has come here from Providence, Rhode Island, and she's going to talk to us about all her transformations. So welcome, Barbara.
Well, thank you, and I have Arthur Mark, a friend, to thank for introducing me to you. So thank you, Arthur.
And I know that you trained as a lawyer many years ago, and you only worked in the field for a few months, and
Yes.
you realized it wasn't quite your thing.
Well,
right?
I knew it during my first year. I was a television producer at the same time, and I knew very early on that my temperament wasn't suited, but I was determined to finish anyway, just to surprise myself, and I did.
Yeah. So, but you were concurrently working in TV.
Yes,
at
I
that
was.
time,
So
and that
nice
was more your temperament, I guess.
Well, Mark Twain wrote an essay about temperament and opportunity, and he was talking about a turning point in his life that determined his career as a writer. And it happened to be when he got the measles, and his mother refused to send him back to school and apprenticed him with a printer instead. And that's where he started to learn to write. And later on, opportunities came to him, but things never really turned out. And so this was an insight for me, because he talked about the importance of merging opportunity and temperament. And I realized all these exciting careers that I'd had went just so far because my temperament wasn't suited for them.
So we want to find out more about what you see as being your temperament. What do you think you're well suited for?
Well, I think those insights come quite by chance. And for me, it was the summer, in part, after I lost someone very close to me. And that summer, it was pretty lonely because everyone I knew was away or doing something, and I knew I had to talk to someone or be with a group. Even though
excuse me, Barbara, are you saying this is when you were taking care of your...
No, this was after he died.
After your significant other
yes.
died?
That summer. And I'd been in a bereavement group, but it wasn't enough. So I went to my church, First Unitarian in Providence, give them a plug, and to a women's group there. And as I was walking in, I saw a base on the ground between the meeting house, which is what we call the church, and the parish house. And I said to the woman standing there, "What's this all about?" Which is how I learn things. What is this all about? And she said, "Oh, this is for jazz therapy." And I said, "What's that?" And she said, "We rehearse every Tuesday night in the meeting house, and people are welcome to come and listen." There were 3 vocalists and a trio, and the woman's husband was the bass player, Carol Pendleton. And so the next Tuesday night, instead of going to the women's group, I went to the meeting house to listen to this music. And it was the highlight of my week, and it really got me through that summer. And 2006, a winter rolled around, and the spring and the summer, and I was getting itchy. I wanted to sing. That March of 2007, I sang as an adult for the first time. And then that summer, I had my first experience in more of a secular environment, where I was invited to participate in a showcase, vocal showcase. And then that next December, this is, less than 2 years, a friend of mine said, "Barbara, you're singing now, aren't you? How would you like to sing a couple of songs at the hi-hat?" And I said, "You think I can do that?" He said, Sure you can do that." So I did. And then the next winter rolled around, and George Leonard, I'm a big fan of his, said, "Barbara, how would you like your own gig at the hi-hat?" I said, 3 hours? He said, "Sure, you can do that." So that's what I did with my trio, and that was 2007, and then in 2008 I decided, on my birthday, I said, I want to produce a CD.
So we have a little piece that we could play from your CD,
yes.
don't we?
Johnny Mercer hated airplanes. He always traveled by train everywhere he went. And lots of his songs were written on the train. And this particular one, "I Thought About You," was written on his way from New York to Chicago, where he had a radio show. And the lyrics represent what he saw outside of his Pullman window. So, "I thought about you."
So let's go ahead and listen to that.
Let's listen to this.
Yeah.
Here's for you, Johnny. took a trip on a train, and I thought about you. I passed a shadowy lane, and I thought about you. 2 or 3 cars parked under the stars, a winding stream, moon shining down on some little town, and with each beat, same old dream. At every stop that we made, oh, I thought about you. I love that song.
It's lovely, and you were singing right along with it.
Well, that's one of my favorite songs.
So, but my understanding is that you really started to sing professionally just a few years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing as much this winter because I was working on another book. But I wanted to say that same summer was the summer I decided to take my writing seriously. And during the course of caregiving, I was keeping a journal. And at the end of my caregiving time, I decided to take all of those notes and transcribe them. And as I was writing them, I was realizing the extent to which I was in denial about the illness and about the outcome. So a year went by, and I'd been working on several chapters, and it was getting more and more difficult. So at the year anniversary of Rick's death, I said, I just can't, it's agony, rereading everything. I thought, I want to write something. And so I was looking at a picture of the two of us together when he was still feeling healthy, and I had a white stuffed owl that I'd bought at the Audubon Society, and a puppet about this tall. And I was looking at him and at the owl and him. I said, he looks like the owl. So I said, I will write it as an allegory, and Rick will be an owl. And so the first line I wrote, which didn't end up being the first line in the book, but the first line I wrote was, Oliver was lonely. And I smiled and I said, this is the direction I need to go in. And it's when wishes come true, it is as much for adults as it is for children.
We should put some pictures up so that we can see.
So we can talk about when we have. That's yes. There's Oliver Owl and Penelope Peahen, and they're dancing, and they met dancing, and they had made a wish for a forever special best friend. Both of them independently had said, I wish for most of all is a forever special best friend. And they happened to meet at the Birdland Ballroom, and this was their first dance together, and Penelope felt safe and comfortable immediately as Oliver put his wing around her, and you can see, perhaps they can't see her face, as her eyes are closed, she just feels as if this is the place she belongs, in Oliver's wings. And there's another part of the book that I really love, and it's the everything place. In fact, I was there last week, a couple of weeks ago. It's in East Orleans, and that's where Rick and I used to spend many wonderful times. And Oliver wants to take Penelope there because it's a place where she will see and understand everything. And what that is, people will have to read the book to find out.
Some profound questions that you ask in this book of children, right?
Yes.
But as you're saying, adults can resonate with it as well.
I think that it's very instructive for adults as well. Well,
I don't want to end our talk today without just noting things that you've done in the past, which are also wonderful and remarkable. And I think there are probably times in your life where you have expressed this creativity and this joy in life. And you were a producer on TV.
Yes, I was a television producer. And
radio.
I did, yes. I had a radio show, and I wrote a column for the Herald for a short time. And
here in Boston.
Yes, in Boston. And in New York, I was at National Educational Television, and I've been in retailing. That was an early career. And I've also had my own spa camp for women, Ever New. Yes.
That's a good place for us to be complete right now.
Yes, full circle. Well, thank you, Karma.
Thank you, Barbara. This has been lovely.
It's fun sitting in this seat for a change.
It's so nice to get to know you here.